As documentation gradually shifts from a non-billable activity to one that occurs within a billable activity, clinicians have more time to work with new and existing clients. More time shifted to clients means increased productivity. Our first study question was, does the Recovery Companion facilitate collaborative documentation? We compared 3 agencies. In Agency 1, collaborative documentation was not expected. The Recovery Companion was not used either. It's kind of our control group. In Agency 2, collaborative documentation was expected, but Recovery Companion was not used. In Agency 3, collaborative documentation was expected, and the Recovery Companion was used. Here are the results of study number 1. Agency 2 was required to document collaboratively, but not given the tools to accomplish it. As you can see, clinicians plateaued after 6 months. Agency 3 was required to document collaboratively, but they were provided the Recovery Companion to accomplish it. Over a 2-year period, clinicians completed over 80% of their documentation during the session. The Recovery Companion facilitates collaborative documentation. Our second study question, does the Recovery Companion facilitate increases in productivity or billable time? In Study 2, we used the same 3 agencies under the same conditions as Study 1. Here are the results of Study number 2. Over a 2-year period, Agency 3 increased productivity by over 25%, demonstrating that as documentation shifts from a non-billable activity to a billable activity, clinicians have more time to work with new and existing clients. The Recovery Companion facilitates increases in clinicians' productivity. An essential factor to increasing productivity is the length of time it takes to complete the Recovery Companion evaluation. Our goal was that in 60 to 75 minutes, most clinicians could complete the inventory, clinical summary, and bridge to the treatment plan. In preparing for this study, we've discovered a wide variance in the time it takes to complete the Recovery Companion between agencies. As we have studied this, we found a strong correlation between the level of clinical leadership's commitment to collaborative documentation and the average length of time clinicians take to complete the Recovery Companion. A low level of commitment to collaborative documentation is related to excessive evaluation times. Clinicians in these agencies average 120 minutes to complete the Recovery Companion. A waning or inconsistent level of commitment to collaborative documentation is related to inefficient evaluation times. Clinicians in these agencies average 90 to 105 minutes to complete the Recovery Companion evaluation. A high level of clinical leadership's commitment to collaborative documentation is related to much more efficient evaluation times. Clinicians in these agencies average 60 to 75 minutes to complete the Recovery Companion evaluation. Our third study question was, does a higher level of leadership's commitment and support of collaborative documentation decrease the time needed to complete the Recovery Companion? We compared the supervision practices of 3 agencies who were using the Recovery Companion. In Agency 1, collaborative documentation was encouraged, but no supervision was provided after training. In Agency 2, collaborative documentation was expected, and some supervision was provided after training if requested. In Agency 3, collaborative documentation was expected. Supervision was provided through our recommended Recognition and Rewards program. Now, before we look at the results of the study, let me give you a little background on Agency 3's Recognition and Rewards program. In this program, executive and clinical leadership expect reasonable changes in a specific practice, like collaborative documentation. Use profiler data to measure compliance and success, provide monthly recognition and rewards, which are non-monetary, to clinicians who improve, and provide support and training for clinicians who don't. Here are the results of Study 3. All of the agencies provided initial Recovery Companion training at implementation. Agency 1 provided no follow-up supervision. Agency 2 provided follow-up supervision but no support or training. Agency 3 supervised for clinicians with excessive evaluation times and provided retraining. Agency 3 also implemented and maintained a monthly recognition and rewards program for clinicians who had low evaluation times and high percentages of collaborative documentation. By the end of the first year, Agency 3 was completing the Recovery Companion evaluation in just over an hour. Leadership's commitment to and support of collaborative documentation decreases the time needed to complete the Recovery Companion. If you'd like to enhance your profiler experience and enjoy these measurable benefits of the Recovery Companion suite, contact us at ITX.